Hello there, Padawan learners, Jedi Masters, and lore legends. Welcome to the Bendu Podcast, where we talk all things Star Wars.
Welcome everyone to episode 10 of the Bendu Podcast, where we seek balance in the Force. We got our bros with it. We got a full crew tonight. We got all the bros. We got Nate, we got Crawler, we got N64 Josh. What up, guys? What's up?
What up?
What up?
You clipped out for a second there, Josh.
You did. Your noise gate was like, he was too excited.
What up? What up? How's Ray's mom?
So Nate, how you been, man?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Yeah, we missed you last week, man. We missed our lore legend over here. So, Crawler, how you been, man?
Good. Been feeding my Lego addiction and just Star Wars stuff all over the place.
Heck yeah, bro. Heck yeah. I did get another Lego as well. We got the Bad Batch set for my son's birthday this month, so it was pretty awesome. He put that whole thing together, and I was like, that's a lot. That was a lot of pieces.
I got that for my son just because things have been going well in school, and he's 6, and he put it together by himself.
Oh, dude, that's legit. My son did it, and he was 11. He got a little frustrated sometimes. So
I get frustrated sometimes with Lego.
I know, right? Right. So tonight, guys, we got a few things to talk about. We're going to talk about some new books that are coming out for Star Wars, which is very exciting. We're going to finally go over the Obi-Wan Kenobi rumor, a video game rumor. We got Nate's lower corner. We also got a little Josh segment here. And no, it's not about Ray's mom, so don't worry. And then we're going to talk Star Wars Visions. We're going episode by episode. So this one is going to be the one from Tatooine. So it's going to be interesting. So guys, first up is the books, and we have how many, like 3 or 4 different books that are
4 books.
They're coming out. Which ones? Well, first, let me name them for all the guys that don't know, that are listening or watching. You may not know. You got The Shadow of the Sith, Brotherhood, Stories of Jedi and Sith, Padawan. So, wow, that just saying those names, I'm kind of excited because they all look like they could be really good. Like really, really good. Which ones are you guys the most excited for?
Well, there's brief descriptions on them a little bit as well. Like Shadow of the Sith, it's Luke and Lando going to investigate Exegol, which would put it time-wise after Return, but I don't know how far. I don't know how long after Return did Luke go into exile. I mean, that's
a while.
It was a while.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if Lando knew how to get there, I don't know. But, I mean, that sounds interesting. And then Brotherhood is Anakin and Obi-Wan adventures, which they're going to... You looked up this planet, right? It's from Force Unleashed, right?
It's from Force Unleashed 2. It's the planet that Starkiller goes to and fights the big... beast when he's trying to get oh gosh, I'm going blank now. What was the other Jedi's name? When he's trying to free the other Jedi, because it's like basically
it's been so long. I need to replay those games because it's been a long time since I played those.
I haven't played it in so long, so it's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna have to look it up, but yeah, it's like a planet that he went to and he fought the big beast that was there, used for the arena battles and things like that. So I was like, oh, dude, we're going to actually get some, like maybe some like old school that's not lore turn into lore. So
yeah, well, and just more Anakin and Obi-Wan, because there's a lot that happened in those 10 years that we don't know what they did all the time.
Yeah, we get a lot with Clone Wars, but there's still a lot more.
Yeah.
These last 2, I think, is what I'm most excited about. Like so the stories of the Jedi and Sith. I don't know if you guys read any of the stories from Jabba's palace or the Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Like those, it was like a collection of short stories.
Yeah,
I remember those,
old Legends books. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from Jedi and Sith. Like I don't know. Like I hope it's small, bite-sized, individualized pieces that can maybe spread a bigger kind of story.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be like the first two Witcher books where there's, it's a bunch of short stories, but there is kind of this overarching story that flows through them.
Yeah.
And then the last one's about Obi-Wan as a Padawan, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
really excited about that one because these are going to be canon. So it's going to be interesting to see him because I don't even know if it's still considered canon. He basically was a Padawan and almost like basically didn't become a Jedi, which is interesting because by the time the end of episode 3, he's like the most important Jedi, like he's guarding Luke. Like that's the most important job there is. So.
I wonder if this can make, because the game Obi-Wan from OG Xbox is not canon, correct? But I wonder if the book can maybe make some of that maybe canon. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would be okay if they start pulling in, like they're doing with Visions, pulling in stuff that's not necessarily canon and pulling it in and seeing how fans react and maybe making it canon,
And I wonder if it'll have any connection to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it certainly
Just
could.
even like loose connections, loose threads, that type of thing.
Because that's the way
we'll get to it later in Visions, but like I feel like this second episode of Visions has the most recognizable, like so far. And I haven't watched through a lot of the Vision stuff yet, but at least what I've seen from the previews of them all, like this latest episode seems to have the most like recognizable characters that we see. So it's interesting to see some of those non-canon things tie in with characters that we know and recognize.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously for me as an Obi-Wan fan, I'm the most excited for Padawan. What about you, Josh? I mean, there's no Rey's mom on here.
Josh doesn't read, but he'll listen to it on Audible.
Like finding out more about Obi-Wan that sounds cool, but also finding a little learning more about Qui-Gon. I'm assuming is going to be.
I would assume was there.
Yeah,
some backstory, as well. And so, and like Nate was saying, with them tying into each other. I mean, I just got through the Aftermath series like shortly before we started, or like while we were doing this show, and like the way some of that stuff is tied to Mandalorian, and like I love all that. So like just kind of getting that little extra, like. The stories are usually fantastic anyway within these books, but then when they're tied to the show and you get that little more backstory, you get, you find out a little more, it feels like you're finding out a little insider info, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of cool to watch it all tie together.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. And speaking, what about you, Nate? Which one are you most excited
Probably
for?
the Obi-Wan book.
Yeah.
And maybe the one, depending on how many different stories they do with Anakin and Obi-Wan. That could be interesting. Or and even the Shadow of the Sith. It'll depend on what they do with it and if they're trying to help the sequel series. If there's anything that kind of makes that a little better.
Or maybe bring out some stuff with Darth Bane. I mean, the rule of two,
or Revan.
Exegol, Revan. I mean, if they're going to Exegol,
I mean, there's the book about Plagueis, but
I don't think is that canon.
I don't think that's canon.
I don't think that's canon anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And apparently, I guess, we may see some, because Vader knew about Exegol as well. So maybe Luke finds out about Exegol through some of Darth Vader's artifacts or something, So it's
maybe Rey's mom told him about it.
I was waiting for the first one of those. We finally got it. So,
or it's like, have you watched the Terrifying Tales, the Lego Star Wars, the Halloween one?
I saw that pop up. I haven't watched it yet.
It's pretty good.
Maybe he found it while they were renovating Vader's old castle into a hotel.
Exactly. Maybe he found it.
Oh wow.
So the Obi-Wan Kenobi rumor, let's just jump into that. So there's a rumor that there is most likely going to be Inquisitors in the Kenobi series, as one of the characters was reported as saying that his character has a lightsaber. So a lot are speculating that it's the fifth brother Inquisitor that we see. This source is coming from Screen Rant. So what do you guys think? Do you want to see an Inquisitor in the Kenobi series? You want to see more lightsabers?
Very yes, please. If the Kenobi series didn't have lightsabers, I would check out like pretty quick. You know, like let's find out. I feel like these Inquisitors are like, you know, the games and the comics and stuff like that, but there's not a lot. Just like, I mean, if you were to ask your average Star Wars fan that's only seen the movies and watched some of the shows, they'd be like, "What's an Inquisitor?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd have
Yeah.
no idea. So yeah, start bringing this to bring it to the masses.
Helicopter lightsabers to
Yeah,
live
I know.
action. Let's do it.
Let's do it, baby. Yeah.
And I mean, and it would make sense with the time period too, if we're seeing, depending on what they're doing with Vader, if he's working with the Inquisitors, and it
Yeah.
would make sense to almost have one hunting Obi-Wan. He gets a whiff of Obi-Wan being alive or something.
Yeah. Or maybe he finds out about Luke and
Yeah.
somehow, and you know, Obi-Wan has to dispatch him. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
Well,
want to
there's-
see it.
There's the possibility of Vader like taking one of them out for not liking what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
there's
He
so
didn't-
much there. Like
Yeah, he took him out all the time. He's
Yes.
just like, he didn't care. He's like, you're a tool. You're useless now. Let's just trash. You're dead. You're done. Let's go to the
Yeah.
next one. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can think of is it depends on how they do Obi-Wan. If they're doing when he's older or if they're doing when he's a little bit younger and it's closer to like episode 3. Because then we have a lot of potential there. Like a lot. Because you have like Kanan. Like, I mean, just that timeline, you have a lot of potential other Jedi that you could see that may have survived. Or, you know, like the Inquisitors and things like that. So for me, it would be exciting to see that era. Because, like, there's no way he just sat on Tatooine that whole time, right? Like, he had to do
Yeah.
something.
Maybe Cal
knows?
Kestis. Maybe Cal Kestis. That would be cool.
That would be freaking awesome. Yeah.
Maybe see a live action version of the scene with Maul.
Oh. Oh.
I'd be okay with that because that is such a cool. If,
Like
if
a
nobody,
build into it again, like another
Yeah.
his view of it coming into it.
Yeah. And maybe just cut to black, kind of like a Soprano thing. Like,
Or introduce live action Ezra.
that would be a great way to like introduce Ezra
bridge it
into
before
the
into
universe.
to bridge it into the
Mhm.
Ahsoka series. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and God, dude, there's so many ways they could do it. It would be really cool. Be really
In
cool.
Filoni, we trust.
I know,
in
man.
introducing all these characters, I mean, don't leave out Ray's mom.
Josh.
No, actually, for real, we could actually learn about their parents at some point. That'd be all right, you know? Like, cool.
Yeah.
Who are they?
yeah. Well, the answer to that is no. Okay. So
It's sitting on the cutting room floor is what. That's where that answer
they're
is.
they're all clones, right? They're Boba Fett clones.
That's
So Nate, I never got to play these games, but I know you have. But there's a rumor the developers of Heavy Rain and Detroit Becoming Human is making a Star Wars game. So give me the lowdown. What do you think about that, man? I mean, I think you'd love Detroit, right?
Detroit was fantastic, and the best part about it was the storytelling and just the branching story. Like anybody you talk to who has finished that game will have
Yeah.
played a different game. Like no story is the same no matter how much like
Because it's a decision making game, right?
oh yeah, like there's some quick time events, so it's not like a heavy gameplay, but it's definitely on the branching story. And I mean, some of the main characters can die in the first quarter of the game, and you just never even see that entire storyline.
Dang. Okay.
So with a Star Wars game, you can have so many possibilities. Like, yeah, and little decisions will carry throughout the game. I mean, you think the Mass Effect series does that? This does it better than Mass Effect did in a single game.
Holy crap, that's huge praise then.
Like, if you go look, I know we have a review up on the Mulehorn Gaming site. I have a map of like one scene from the game, and it's like all this branching, and if you make this decision, you can go up this way, come back down here, and just like the way it interacts throughout the whole thing.
So would
So
you?
the potential is there for a great story.
So maybe like a KOTOR on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So something that would have repercussions like that would have to be either detached away from the nine movies, or set
So
or
far back
set so far back that anybody that you kill doesn't have any repercussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it would be nice almost to have something just completely separate from the Star Wars, the Skywalker stuff, and again go back to the Old Republic, set it in the High Republic even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all we really have are a few
I think
books
that would
and
be
comics.
I think that would be a good way to branch in different media than just the book and comics. And
Mhm.
there's a 20-person writing team that met at
Crazy, yeah.
at Skywalker Ranch when they storybooked how they were going to progress High Republic. So pull some of those people in to help write the story and do something like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Mule, you're like super familiar with like the comics, and I'm sure they've introduced characters that we've never really seen too much of. Like, can you think of anybody that you'd be like, yo, it would be great if this was a main character, or this would be great if it was, somebody that we got to flesh out more of their story?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything with any type of clone trooper, I think would be amazing for something like that, especially with kind of what you get to see in the Bad Batch with like, oh, now they have like IDs basically, where anywhere you go, you have your IDs you have to provide or something like that. I think it'd be kind of cool if you're a clone trooper and you have to decide whether you want to join the Empire or whether you want to do something more like Rex and Hunter and all the others and kind of try to find a way to remove your chip and get on with life, maybe join the rebellion, kind of something like that would be really cool to go through. Or even like a fallen Jedi or a Jedi that was almost changed into an Inquisitor. Because we know basically that's what Palpatine and Vader did is the Jedi they didn't kill, the ones that they captured, they tortured them until they became Inquisitors. And then they were just so scared of Vader and Palpatine, they did their bidding to try to survive. And a lot of them were corrupted and fell. A lot of them were just trying to survive. But I think that would be really cool to do something like that. Like any type of like hard choices. So like an Inquisitor or a Jedi or something like that, or a fallen Jedi, I think would be really, really cool. Or even Lord Bauman. Lord Bauman was really cool in the 2017 comics. If they could like do something like with his helmet and maybe have that come into play with like, oh, you put it on and it starts to control you and your choices and things like that. There's just so many characters in the universe that they could pull from comics or from even the established animated series they have, So really just depends, man. Depends.
Just listening to you talk about it, like I even wonder if there could be a pretty cool story about random person that ends up becoming a stormtrooper, but finding out how they got to that point. And like, I think a lot of times when we think video games, we oftentimes think good versus bad. Let's play as the hero. Let's kind of, but like, this seems like that might be the kind of studio that could be like, yo, let's take this person that was like maybe anti-Empire and then figure out and understand what would make that person change and then want to then join up and
I mean, that's what Sabine did in
Yeah.
Rebels. She joined because she didn't want her family to die,
Mhm.
Like she joined and created a weapon against the Mandalorians, So, I mean, there's just so many ways they could do it if it's like a KOTOR type experience where you get all these choices and you have to choose.
And it's even, the definitely in Detroit, and I want to say Heavy Rain, you're playing different characters throughout the story too, and they'll kind of come together, break apart, that type of thing. So there's a lot more they can do with that as well, and the choices can affect outcomes of the other characters even. And you may not necessarily know that early on.
Dude,
I feel like almost every time we come to a Star Wars game, 1313 gets brought up in some point. Like 1313 would be something that's just going on Coruscant that doesn't play into anything that would affect the movies or the shows or anything like that. And that could be multiple criminal empires running in the underground on Coruscant that you could play. Like, I feel like that could play into the, especially from what I've seen of Detroit Become Human, like a lot into that decision making kind of stuff of how you survive in the underground of Coruscant or something like that. I know it was third person action adventure, but if they it was Detroit and Heavy Rain, was that third person? And then
third person.
Okay, so I mean it could kind of fit into that genre a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want that, those assets to be used somehow, because we saw that's really cool vertical slice at E3 8 years ago or however long ago it was.
Yeah.
And with Detroit, you've got basically a cop, you've got somebody running away with a kid, and then you've got your almost revolutionary. So, you could build that. You could easily put that type of thing into Star Wars. Heavy Rain was more of a mystery, like more of a murder mystery, trying to solve who the origami killer is. So,
Even hearing you say that immediately makes me want to find out more about their legend now. But those trailers for the Old Republic game, right, where it's the two brothers and the dad and the like
twins,
to have all three of their stories, like
the CG trailers of that are just so amazing.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, it's some of the best. It's so good, so good. And it's like, what happened there? What is all that? Like, that dude was tore up and he had robotic arms, and like, there was just that was like some of the best 6 minutes of Star Wars content we've had. Like,
dude, you could even make this game VR. Like, it could be a VR game. Like, if it's story centric and not a lot of gameplay. No, come on, man. Come on, man.
I mean,
no VR. We don't need VR.
Like Half-Life Alyx gets high praise for being such a great VR game, but it's so inaccessible to so many people. You want stuff to be accessible to people.
True. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it'd just be cool. It'd be cool. So
hopefully it's on Xbox though.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to turn it over to Nate here for Nate's lore corner, and he's got some cool lore for us. So hold on, you Lord Legends. We're going to go over something very interesting.
So this week we're going to go over the Revan. Revan is honestly one of the more interesting characters in I guess most of his info is legends, but he has been brought back into canon recently. And he was a Jedi with his apprentice best friend Alec, who later became Malak. And they were fighting and leading the Jedi against the Mandalorians in the Mandalore Wars back in the Old Republic, 4,000 years before the main movies. And the two of them butted heads with the Jedi Council at the time a lot, and eventually they turned to the dark side and led the Jedi Civil War by creating the Sith Empire, finding the Star Forge, and just wreaking havoc on the Jedi. Malak betrayed Revan, who was then captured by the Jedi Council, specifically Bastila Shan, and had his memory wiped. And now this is some spoilers for a 17-year-old game. But
at this point, you suck if you haven't played it. No, I'm just joking.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Josh.
But you are the player. You are Revan in Knights of the Old Republic. So, which is honestly one of the best moments in the game. Finding that
sounds
out,
like it would have been.
It would have been.
Really does. Sounds like it would have been. Don't worry, you weren't the first one to spoil.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's a 17-year-old game.
Yeah, it was Jay Bartlett, and if he's hearing this because he's a huge Star Wars fan, I'm still mad about it. Go ahead.
God, Jay.
So yeah, his mind was wiped, and they started to use him as a soldier. Bastila was keeping an eye on him. He eventually starts to get force sensitive again after they crash land on Paris, which gets blown up. So even back 4,000 years ago, they were blowing up planets. And as you play him, you can decide to go light or dark, and he eventually finds out who he is. again, can decide to go light or dark throughout the entire game. I think the canon ending for it is that he did go back to the light side. And he, ended up defeating Malik and going on to try to destroy the Sith. He doesn't actually succeed. After Knights of the Old Republic, him and Basha actually get married. And he tries to kind of step away for a little while. It doesn't really work. He eventually starts getting his memories back, and he keeps HK-47 around, which is awesome. It's the best droid in Star Wars because, his dialogue is just great.
Yep.
And eventually he gets, and I think this might be, I don't know, you might know better, is in the Old Republic game. Do you see more of Revan? Because there's a lot that actually goes on afterwards.
Yeah, you see him in SOTOR. I mean, it's not canon, but basically he splits himself to a light side and dark side persona.
And I think eventually comes back at the end where he's, the light side and is revered by both Jedi and Sith. Like Darth Bane takes a lot of inspiration from him. So, and even he was supposed to show up in Clone Wars in the Mortis episode. It was supposed to be him and Bane with the sun, but that eventually was cut because Lucas didn't quite agree with the way he was. But in episode 9, he's on Exegol, and one of the legions that the Emperor is using is named after him. So he is canon. I hope we see him again at some point and have his, the canon version of his story shown. I don't know if we will, but that would be
maybe that's what the remake of Knights of the Old Republic is going to be.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
but yeah. So
Quick
that's
question.
Revan. Yep.
Who's the panda Jedi on Knights of the Old Republic 2's case?
it's the Old Republic 2 Panda Jedi.
Yeah, who's that panda Jedi that's got he looks like a character out of Fortnite, actually.
What are you talking about? Panda Jedi?
It looks like a panda bear. What do you want me to?
Oh my gosh. Are you talking about a Sith? Or are you talking about a panda Jedi?
I was just curious if
that's Darth Nihilus.
There you go.
All
right.
Oh, the guy with the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Nihilus.
Dude, he looks nothing like a freaking
He does not
panda.
look like a panda bear.
Oh my God. He is like the opposite of a panda bear.
I've never seen Nate open his eyes that wide before. It was like, that is not a panda bear.
Dude, he freaking destroys planet by sucking the life out of him. A panda I want to hug,
Hey, Sith need hugs. That's why they're Sith, okay?
Oh
help a brother out.
Oh, gee. Anyways, sorry, Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that was really about it. He's, honestly one of the more interesting Star Wars characters we have. I hope we see some more canon from him.
Yeah.
Just because he has that duality of the light and the dark.
Yeah.
I knew I was derailing him at the right time.
He waited until I was pretty much.
Make a little panda shirt with a lightsaber. It'll be like, we got Kung Fu Panda.
It'll be like
we got Jedi Panda. Bring it all. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm all about it.
Josh is trying to bring Jack Black into the Star Wars universe, right?
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly.
Why not? Are you guys ready?
I'm ready for this Josh segment. What are you calling it, Josh? What are you calling it? I gotta know.
This is Rando Calrissian Star Wars facts. Right? Nate almost spit water right there. So, Rando Calrissian Star Wars facts.
Okay.
Here we go. The R2-D2 we all know and love speaks only in beeps and whistles, a robot language that most of his friends can understand. But in the original draft of Star Wars written in 1974, R2-D2 spoke in complete sentences. Even more alarming, he was not the lovable goof that he would later become. He was actually kind of a bully, berating his pal C-3PO with insults like, "You're mindless, useless philosopher, and you're nothing more than a dim-witted, emotion-brained intellectual. Why were you created is beyond my logic systems."
So that's what he's saying when he's doing that. Yeah.
I think so. So he kind of he needed to take that hostility just down a notch. So there you go. There's a rando Calrissian fact.
Dude, that's
did Kenny Baker talk him out of all of that?
Could be.
Yeah. That's actually, I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been weird.
That would have been
that.
like the clip from Blue Harvest, Family Guy, where R2D2 is Cleveland and he's speaking in complete sentences.
Yeah.
It would have been Pinky and the Brains. 3 people have been like, "What we going to do today?" Oh, 2? Like the same thing we do every day, brainless. Try to take over the Death Star, like I don't know, whatever.
I mean, we eventually got something like that in K2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
K2 is cool. Yeah. We just need someone to call someone a meatbag. Then we'd be good.
Yes, then we'll be good with HK-47.
Yeah. Meatbag. Yeah.
Chat says the Panda Jedi'd probably be gray. Just throwing it out there. Maybe more of a koala Jedi. I don't know.
You guys are gonna make me make a MHG shirt that's a gray panda with a lightsaber. I got it.
Yeah.
I'll get on that.
I'm on board. This is why I'm here.
Jeez. All right, so the final segment here, Star Wars Visions, episode 2 was the Tatooine episode where we see a band with big dreams must save one of their own from Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett. So guys, let's just do a little review here. What'd you think of this episode? Where would you place it kind of in all the other episodes? Because I think we've all seen all of them. Nate, you haven't yet? You still going one by one?
I'm going one by one as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you guys think then compared to episode 1? What were y'all's thoughts?
Fun fact, while you guys were talking about books, I watched the episode. So I'm ready for this part of the conversation. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, you're wondering why I was so quiet? Because I was trying to watch Chibi Bobo. I was like, go, Chibi Bobo.
Oh my God.
This was definitely more lighthearted than the first episode. I can't believe you just watched it.
Indiana had it fresh. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fresh. Like I kept trying to fight the urge to throw up the horns when they were rocking out so hard. I was like, stop, get down, stop it. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's great to see Boba Fett used in the way he was. I think that was cool. We got more Slave One or Fire Spray or whatever it's called now.
Fire Spray. It's the class of ship and the name now.
It's Slave One.
It's Slave One.
Yeah.
But like, I get that these are freestanding, and I don't want to dive too deep into the time overlaps of it all. But Boba is pretty full grown, but the lead singer kid is a Jedi, if I'm not mistaken, right? It almost looked like he got lost in the Battle of Geonosis at the very beginning and fell into this transport.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Is that what it looked like? It looked like the droid foundries on Geonosis.
I think it was during Order 66, even.
Could be.
What this looked like Saved by the Bell, the teenage years. Are you kidding me? Like that's what this looked like. Like it was like, hey, we're all I'm seriously Chibi Boba. Like that was my favorite thing ever. He's just like all short and fat and like, let's go.
I felt like this one was very much like the animation style was not my thing. It looked like bobbleheads to me, and I was just like, I tried to watch it because it had Boba in it. But I actually fell asleep, and I never rewatched it. I fell asleep
14 minutes with the credits.
I fell asleep, man. I never
rewatched. I know, because I just watched it.
Well, we were talking about Star Wars, yeah. I couldn't do it, man. It just wasn't like... It was cool. It had Boba in it and the other bounty hunters, but I was just like...
It didn't grab me either.
Yeah.
I didn't fall asleep during it, but... I watched it. It just wasn't very memorable.
I did fall asleep during it the very first night of Visions. I watched the first episode and then I fell asleep watching this one. I rewatched it again today because I have held off. I've been caught up in Squid Game, so that's all I've been watching lately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I did want to watch it. I mean, it serves as a unique one-off.
Mhm.
I think it showcased this animator probably had a unique musician friend that he wanted to showcase because they play like two different songs in it, and I mean it was interesting, but it definitely just is a story set in a Star Wars place. And I think it had some unique, like I had mentioned earlier, it had some unique ways to pull in this non-canonical one-off, but it showed the pod race arena on
Yep.
Tatooine. It showed Obi-Wan's hut. It showed Jabba and his whole circle. I mean, we saw the
Band of Merry Men.
Yeah, we saw. I mean, we saw the skiffs and the same people that died at the Sarlacc, however many years later, and yeah, and then I mean, having Boba was cool.
Yeah.
Part of the episode felt like an extension of George's second vision for Return of the Jedi, where like he had the full band playing.
Oh my gosh, I
I'm-
knew you.
I'm trying to be serious here for once. Okay, so like, hear
Yeah.
me out here though. Like,
Remake song of the intro of Jabba's palace.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Whatever he says with the troll.
The dude with the teeth, like ah.
His uvula's like dangling in the back of his mouth, like you know. Like,
And you're just like
Like-
cringe. Yeah.
yeah, but that's kind of what this was. It felt like, oh, this might actually have happened with Jabba. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
like, he's kind of a weird.
He was wagging
a
his
weird
tail at
slug.
the end there.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
Jeez.
But I mean, watching a hut with a piercing play a bass or whatever, like, I can get behind that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
He had a flamethrower on his base.
Was it a nostril piercing or was it a cheek piercing? Like, where was
I
that
don't
thing located
I
exactly?
fell asleep. I don't remember.
Wow, I can't believe you guys didn't watch this.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch it like during the podcast, Josh.
I'm efficient.
Yeah. All right. So give me a rank, 1 to 10. What would you rank this episode?
There's fat jokes in the chat. Somebody just said N64 the hut. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Big boned.
I'm gonna go middle of the road. I'm gonna say 5.
Yeah, that's a
3.
That's a 3.
Well, because I understand George's true vision of Return of the Jedi Special Edition, I'm gonna say this goes to is at least a 7.9.
Oh my gosh.
Because
You're just being contrary, Josh. That's what it is.
I think George would have. I think George approves. I think he was like, "Yo, yeah. If we had had the tech, they would have been playing those kind of instruments, and we would have had not just that little blue guy doing his little keyboards. We would have had the triple drummer. Those guys
Yeah.
were pretty sick too. You know,
I'm going to say if it wasn't for Boba, it would be lower, but I'm giving it a 4.3. So it just didn't do it for me. None of it spoke to me. Like the first one was just amazing. Like the animation, the theme, the way it felt
Yes,
was
Sith Poppins. We got Sith
Yeah.
Poppins.
yeah, it was just awesome. So yeah, I couldn't do it after that. So sorry. All right, guys. Any closing thoughts other than Ray's mom before we end this episode here?
supposed to say now.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about, you know,
We didn't mention this. When is Disney Plus Day? November.
oh yes, we're gonna get a
We're
trailer.
getting a Boba trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what day it was. I'd have to Google it. But and then also we got the release date for Boba Fett was December 29th. So the first episode will air. So
November
Would-
12th.
thank you, Josh. November 12th. So that's when we're gonna get the trailer. I can't freaking wait, dude. I mean, we may be
Almost a month away.
we may be talking like in the next 3 episodes of the podcast, just Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. Yeah. So we'll see. Well, guys, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you visit the website, mealhorngaming.com. Click on the podcast menu for more great podcasts, like the Halo Infinite podcast that's on Thursday nights. Make sure you check that out. If you would like and subscribe for more great episodes here and other great videos you can see, check out the description below. We got lots of great ways that you can help support us here, like our Epic Creator Code and things like that. But guys, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, Master.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us all.